Who is ready to go back to Middle-earth? Lord of the Rings Gollum is actually starting to take shape, and what started out as a kind of a my eyebrows raised type movie and plot, I'm actually getting really excited now to go experience an actual Lord of the Rings movie in the movie theater. It's been, over almost 2 decades? I don't even know the time, but it's been a long time. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. Do me a favor, make sure you're subscribed, turn on those notifications, and remember, I read every single comment on every single video here on Chaos Cinema, and today, it's all about Lord of the Rings Gollum. We have leaks, updates, rumors, confirmations, all kinds of things. We have iconic characters that we didn't think we were going to see that we may actually see in the movie. So we're going to go over everything. If you're a fan of Lord of the Rings, get ready to get excited. So, let's talk about, well, Gandalf and Frodo, reportedly in the mix. Sir Ian McKellen himself let it slip that there's a character in the movie called Frodo, and there's a character in the movie called Gandalf, essentially confirming that both Gandalf the Grey and Frodo Baggins will appear in some capacity in this film. Yeah, Elijah Wood's Frodo, that Frodo, coming back alongside McKellen's Gandalf. I mean, if that's not enough to go buy your tickets and popcorn, I don't know what is. I mean, if you're a true Lord of the Rings fan, you're already sold. And then we talk about another fan favorite that could be coming back, but we'll talk about him in just a little while. Let's start with what we know for sure about this project. Andy Serkis, the man who is Gollum, is not only reprising the role via motion capture, but also directing the film. Now, that is a true homecoming for Serkis, who famously brought Gollum Smeagol to life in Peter Jackson's trilogy and has since become an accomplished filmmaker. Now, in recent interviews, Serkis revealed that filming is slated to begin in the first half of 2026 with an eye towards December 2027 release dates. Now, in other words, we've got a bit of a wait, but the project is moving ahead steadily. In fact, Serkis is already gearing up in New Zealand for pre-production, which is supposedly about to start any time now, so things are happening behind the scenes. Now, you may ask, why the long timeline? Well, Serkis hinted that The Hunt for Gollum is going to be a sizable movie, and it will take as long as it is needed to get right. That's perfect for me. He's stoked about it. He says, I'm incredibly excited to go back and work with my friends and family in New Zealand. It's going to be surprising and yet very much part of the lore and feel of the trilogy. Serkis said he promised the tone will feel close to the original Lord of the Rings films, same sensibility and likely even some of the same locations, but we're going to get a fresh perspective as it dives deeper into the character of Smeagol or Gollum than ever before. Now, hearing that from the guy who knows Gollum best, I'm reassured. Sounds like Serkis wants his film to fit seamlessly into the Middle-earth that you and I know and love. Almost like an extension of the classic trilogy. And here's a fun fact for you. Peter Jackson himself is on board as a producer along with his writing partners Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyan. So the original creative team is involved. That means this project isn't some random spinoff. It is being crafted by the people who gave us the original films, which, to me, that bodes well for quality and continuity. And I think we're going to get something special. Now, Serkis did joke recently that Gollum is a character he cannot escape, and he clearly embraces that. He's essentially returning to his most iconic role in his career, but this time calling the shots behind the camera too. Now, for fans, that's kind of exciting and kind of poetic. Gollum's precious is in the hands of the actor who understands him inside out. So even though we have to be patient, I would say December 17th, 2027 is being patient. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be worth the wait. And actually, that's not that far off. Now, I talked about familiar faces. Let's talk about the returning characters. This is what makes this really exciting. I teased Gandalf and Frodo appearing in The Hunt for Gollum. This came straight from Gandalf himself, Sir Ian McKellen, at a fan convention in London. During a Q&A, McKellen slyly revealed it's going to be directed by Gollum. I'll tell you 2 secrets about the casting. There's a character in the movie called Frodo, and there's a character in the movie called Gandalf. Apart from that, my lips are sealed. Okay? I mean, he confirmed he's back as Gandalf and that Frodo Baggins will be in the film as well. Now, we can safely assume that means Elijah Wood is set to reprise his role as Frodo. He's going to join McKellen in the cast. It's hard to imagine anyone else playing Frodo after that, right? Now, Gandalf's inclusion makes a lot of sense for the story. We get to the plot in a moment. But the lore that Gandalf is the one who was prompted to hunt for Gollum, I mean, that's what makes sense. So having Gandalf pop up, it feels organic, and who doesn't want more Gandalf? Seriously. Frodo, I don't know about that. It's a bit more surprising because Frodo never actually crossed paths with Gollum until much later in the Lord of the Rings saga. In the timeline, Frodo was chilling in the Shire completely unaware of Gollum during the events of this movie that it's going to cover. So how does Frodo fit in? I'm not sure. I mean, might be a small cameo, or a framing device, or even just a mention. I don't know. Some are saying Frodo's appearance could be minimal, maybe a brief scene that ties into the Fellowship of the Ring. Maybe we get some time jump. I mean, one theory and a sensible one is that Frodo's role will be similar to how he was used in the Hobbit movies. If you remember, Elijah Wood cameoed in Unexpected Journey's opening. It set the stage. Maybe it's like that. Another report says Frodo's role may be very small, perhaps recreations of scenes from Fellowship with new additions to flesh out those moments. So maybe we'll see Frodo in the Shire. Maybe we'll see Frodo at Rivendell. I don't know, in a prologue or epilogue context. Who knows? I mean, just to book in Gollum's story at the end. But essentially, we're going to get Frodo. Now, I mean, people are excited, but they're also curious. On one hand, it's eager to hear Elijah Wood might actually put the Hobbit feet on again. On the other side, why Frodo and not, say, Bilbo or someone who more directly ties to Gollum's past? That makes sense. That's a valid question. Filmmakers will also have to make Frodo's presence make sense without breaking the lore. I mean, remember, Frodo shouldn't know anything about Gollum at this point. So it could be that Frodo appears in a flash forward or a narrative framing type deal. For example, maybe older Frodo is reading Bilbo's book and Gollum's tale or something along those lines. We'll have to wait and see, but regardless, I'm sure they're going to get it right. I'm sure they're going to show it the complexity, and they're going to do what they need to do to keep things how they are, right? The point is, Frodo and Gandalf are coming back. Let's toast to that, and now let's move on to the other huge. And yes, I'm talking about Legolas. Ever since this Gollum movie was announced, fans have been asking, will the elf show up? Legolas, son of Thranduil, does have a logical place in this story. After all, Gollum was held captive by the Wood Elves in Mirkwood for a time, as it was mentioned in the Fellowship of the Ring book. And who's a Prince of Mirkwood? You already know, so it wouldn't be crazy for him to appear, even if briefly during that part of Gollum's journey. Orlando Bloom, who, I mean, knocked it out of the park in that role, has been fielding questions left and right. And here's the deal, nothing is confirmed yet. But Bloom himself said a few days ago he has not heard a peep about returning for the hunt of Gollum. But then again, actors lie. In a TV interview, Orlando smiled and said, I know it's focusing on Gollum, so anything's possible. Once again, I don't believe a word that comes out of their mouth. I mean, he was also very clear he was open to it. He joked, he said, I'd hate to see anyone else play him. What are they going to do? Put somebody else in that role? With AI, they can do anything these days. Classic Orlando humor, but the point is, he doesn't want that character recast. He wants to don the bow and come back. Now, from a story standpoint, it makes sense, at least in a cameo. The film's timeline is between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, right when Gollum is captured and brought to Mirkwood, which, that's his home turf. One article said it would make sense for him to appear in The Hunt for Gollum as the film is set between those two. It could be as simple as a short scene, help secure Gollum in the Woodland Realms dungeons or something, or perhaps presenting during Gollum's attempted escape. I mean, in the lore, he did escape Mirkwood with the help of orcs. The point is, it makes sense, and if you're going to do it, you have to do it with Orlando Bloom. Now, we can't talk about the story without at least mentioning Aragorn. In the lore, he is the guy who literally hunted down Gollum. This movie's very title comes from that snippet of the backstory where Aragorn tracked and captured Gollum in the years before the Fellowship of the Ring. So, naturally, is he going to be in the film? And if he is, who's going to play him? The expectation is, of course, yes, featured prominently. It's just hard to imagine the hunt for Gollum without the hunter himself. And the widely expected plot, confirmed by many sources, is the film will cover the period when Aragorn, who's been charged by Gandalf to find out what happened to Gollum after Bilbo's encounter, finally gets his hands on the creature in the dead marshes and drags him to the Elves of Mirkwood. Now, what are we doing there? I mean, is Viggo Mortensen going to come back? He is Aragorn, and he's in his 60s. I mean, this story's time frame would have him younger. In the lore, he'd be around 80-ish, still vigorous and in his prime, right? But, I don't know. Viggo could potentially still portray him with a bit of de-aging magic. I mean, he does age slowly. He has commented on the possibility of returning. He hasn't ruled it out. He said he'd be interested to come back as Aragorn if the script and the context felt right, especially considering his age now. In an interview, he admitted, I haven't read a script, so I don't know. But he emphasized that the script quality would have to be there. So my question for you, and it's a big one, do they bring him back or do they bring a younger version? It'd be hard to connect to a younger version because he is him. Would you rather have him de-age with AI? That's a big one. I mean, McKellen's coming back. He's super old. So I'm kind of on the fence that I would want him to bring Viggo back. I think that's the way you got to go here. You got to bring back all the originals. That's just me. You guys let me know what you think. Now let's talk about this actual story. Of course, it's the hunt for Gollum, and it's Gandalf's quest to uncover the truth about Bilbo's ring, which leads him to enlist Aragorn to capture Gollum. Now, this puts a timeline probably years just before the Fellowship of the Ring. In Tolkien's chronology, Gandalf suspects Bilbo's ring might be the One Ring. In around 3017, which is a third age, Aragorn finally caught Gollum. So the film will probably kick off with Gollum after he loses the ring to Bilbo. And he's just wandering around in desperation to get his precious back. But what happens in that period? You have to have stuff happening. I mean, there's a lot. You piece together all the stuff. I mean, there could be a lot. He leaves the Misty Mountains, he hunts for the Baggins, he ventures into the wider world, eventually leads him to, unfortunately, Mordor. Yeah, he ends up in Sauron's hands at some point. So there is a lot they can do. The hunt itself, Mirkwood and all the realms, Gollum's escape, Aftermath, all that good stuff you could set up. There's plenty they can pull here from the books and from the lore. So you guys, let me know what you think. It's going to be exciting. I'm excited. I'm getting more excited as we learn more about this. I mean, are we going to see a young Smeagol prologue, flashback to him finding the ring and becoming Gollum again? I mean, is that going to happen? We did get that snippet where they found the ring and he kind of took it by force, so are we going to get more of that? There's so many questions to be answered, but we also have time. So I'll keep you guys posted if anything new happens, and I'll see you soon.